Trailer. So, Godzilla times Kong here. Um, they're not, it's not Godzilla v Kong like Batman v Superman. They're not, there's no legal battle. He's not trying to sue him. So
I kind
they
of want to see that movie though.
Godzilla v Kong.
Yeah, I want to see them do a courtroom drama.
I pay to see that. Yeah, Kong in a suit and tie, everything like that. You know, Donkey Kong style there. But yeah, so you saw this trailer. Checked it. You did see it, right? Yeah, you checked it out.
I did. I did watch it earlier today. Oh, he's
So
got that Nintendo Power Glove on there.
yeah, he's got his Nintendo Power. I like how Kong keeps getting kind of upgrades. Like a video game character. He had like battle axe. Now he's got like a gauntlet now, and everything. So, what is some of your thoughts on Godzilla times Kong?
Well, to speak to what you just said about him getting upgrades, I almost feel like these would be better if they were video games. I've enjoyed the last. I really enjoyed Kong Skull Island. I enjoyed the Versus film from a couple of years ago, and I find a lot of these fun, and they have very entertaining action sequences. But I feel like I get more annoyed progressively every movie by the human subplots, like especially to compare with the original we were just talking about, where I think the human element in it is really powerful and meaningful. I think they need to get the people off the screen with these modern ones. If you're gonna go for this goofy stuff, like get less and less of these people. My worry is like because I think this will be fun. I really do. I think it looks like a good time. But if it's like 2.5 hours again, and like 70% of that is on the people running around, that's gonna be a big drawback. Because that was I was starting to get like the Transformers movies vibes with some of the human characters.
Mm, okay. Um, yeah. So with this, and this is going to be an hour and 56 minutes. This movie right here.
Okay, that's great. That's great.
That's
Awesome.
what. Yeah, so that's what I'm seeing here. And with this, I don't know. Some people could say like like we mentioned before, people kind of complain of Godzilla running or him teaming up with Kong. It's like well, that's not really Godzilla or something like that. So you're gonna have, I
That's
guess,
not realistic.
Yeah, you're gonna have, I guess, your purists, I guess, of this. And I agree with you. I mean, a lot of this is kind of the weaker element here is always been the human element in these ones, but it just depends on how you do it because this new one, Godzilla minus one, the human element was incredibly great, and that's what kind of also was really amazing about that. But it just a lot of these subplots I just think aren't that good. Um, that was the big issue I had with Godzilla 2014. Why it's one of my, I think, the weakest one for me of these newer ones. Just
That one
because,
was just boring.
yeah. And I think that as soon as Bryan Cranston dies in that movie, that whole movie dies. I was like, that movie just died with him. Because then it focuses on, Aaron Taylor Johnson and, Soldier Man and his born ass story of like, what was he trying? He's trying to get back to his wife, Elizabeth Olsen, right?
Yeah, and that had come out like it was like after they had been cast as siblings in Avengers, and so I just got weird vibes from that too.
Because Avengers: Age of Ultron, I think was what 2013, I
20,
think.
yeah, I think that was 2015. I remember you saw them in like the post credits of Winter Soldier, so I think we got like the sense of them being those characters a little bit beforehand, but
Yeah, yeah, I kind of I think a lot of people kind of reported that too, kind of little kind of Game of Thrones ish about it. Yeah, very much
yeah,
so.
exactly. Like I don't just it's just a little off putting.
But you see kind of some news. So this is like the new empire here, kind of going on. I'm struggling kind of remember exactly what happened in do you remember what happened in the last movie at the end of it? Like what was kind of going?
I remember they beat each other up, and then Mechagodzilla showed up, and then they were like, "Hey, you want to beat that guy up together? Cool. All right, fist bump. Go home."
Yeah, that's
That's about what I got out of the whole movie.
yeah, that's kinda what I remember too. I was just kinda like, yeah, they Mechagodzilla came and they teamed up and they beat Mechagodzilla. They fought about 3 times in the movie Godzilla Kong, which is pretty good. I thought that was pretty good that they did that. And then Kong punched the shit out of Godzilla once, and yeah. Yeah, that's basically what I kinda remember there. But I think Kong kinda came back to his island where he's top dog and he was ruled over everything. What do you think about the new look of Godzilla there?
Oh, with the like the pink glow. I mean, hey, why not? You got to make action, slightly different action figure when the next movie comes out, right? That's as
Yeah.
good a reason as any to change the color.
Change the color, you have action figures, he's got the pink hair, the pronouns, you know what I mean, in the bio there, you
And
know.
they've changed the color for that before too. I mean, it's gone from like blue to purple and even like a tealish color in some movies. So that's never been like 100% time. And at one point, it was even gray. So
Yeah, and people complain about the color too a little bit, yeah, the purplish kinda pinkish color there.
I I like Godzilla. I can't imagine caring about it so much that I
And what do you think about here is Baby Kong kinda
Oh
going on?
yeah, it's the dude in the Sonic Kong. I mean, I honestly I think that's great if they're gonna be lean into the goofy side of Godzilla, grab as all the things from the goofy side that you can. I mean, I'm waiting for the bug man with the drill hands to make an appearance at some point here.
Yeah.
And honestly, I will say each of these movies, starting with the 2014 going forward, each one has been a little bit better about like the ratio of monster to human screen time. So if that continues based on the last movie, I mean this could be my favorite. Just depending on how much I don't have to watch the humans run around.
I heard the human element is pretty good because mostly that's who you follow in Monarch. Do you watch the TV show, on Apple Plus?
No, I have not yet at least.
Okay, I hear that's pretty good at least, with some of the and that Monarch is the thing that's, I guess, what they're calling the whole universe that's connecting all the creatures and stuff that they're doing. It's basically like their shield, basically, like, from the
Okay.
MCU. Yeah, that's basically what they're doing there
I
with
mean, if
that.
they can make the human element good, then I'm all for it. I guess it's just been so many times in a row. It's been like I don't care about these people or what they're doing. I would rather them release a 45-minute movie that's just the monsters fighting, I'll go to the theater for that and be much come out of it much happier. If you can't make the humans interesting, leave them out altogether.
And I think some of these people are returning, so I think, Brian Tyree Henry, I think he was in the last one, I remember
He
correctly.
was, yeah. Yeah, I
Um
do remember him being in the last one. He was like big conspiracy guy that was like, "Oh, I saw Godzilla. That means I'm right about the flat Earth."
And then Rebecca Hall, believe she was also in the last one, maybe? Maybe?
She might have been. I don't
I think
remember. Dan
I
Stevens is new. I
yeah,
definitely don't remember seeing him before.
yeah, he's new. Okay, yeah, she was. She was in Godzilla Kong versus Kong, so she
Okay.
was in the last one, I think, yeah. Dan Stevens is new, right? Um, yeah, so you kinda see that there. Um, I know Godzilla kinda has this look on her face like, "This ain't my kid, is it? Like, oh shit, what did I do?" Uh,
This is where the court battle comes in. It's over
yeah.
child support.
And that's where that kinda comes in there. He owns the, 10,000 back bananas and child support there. But so I guess so they're teaming up to fight this kinda new villain, it seems like, this kinda new big ape that's kinda on the island, I guess like a Koba type figure maybe?
That's what
Is
I was gonna say too. It makes me think of Koba from the Planet of the Apes. Yeah, I mean, hey, whatever they want to throw in as the bad guy, I wouldn't be shocked if they pull another Mecha Godzilla and there's like something else that comes in during the film that we aren't being shown in the marketing yet. Because I mean they're doing this whole Hollow Earth thing now, so like who knows what's sitting down there.
Yeah.
Plus, a lot of the monsters that have yet to make an appearance from like the older movies, a lot of those were aliens. So they still have that whole avenue of pulling things out of space that they haven't gone down.
Oh, so we can still get like 6, 5 more movies pulling
Oh, I'm
creature.
sure. Yeah.
Okay. And then I think this little girl, she was also in the last one too. And
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Was she in no, because Kong Skull Island took place in like the 70s, so that would no, that would make sense. But yeah, she was at least in the last.
yeah, and she
She
was
like
the
she, she was like talking to him almost, right?
yeah, because she communicated through sign language and Kong knew. So
Yeah,
she
yeah.
that's the way she kinda so she formed kind of a bond there with Kong through that, which I thought was kinda nice there. I thought that was the best probably connection in the movie there, that you kinda
Yeah,
had there.
actually.
That you kinda had there, but yeah, yeah. So this is coming out April 12th, 2024. Are you excited
It's like,
for
yeah, I mean, I think it'll be fun. I mean, no matter how much I'm complaining about the human characters in the movie, especially when you said that this is going to be less than 2 hours, that actually it just made the whole thing seem like a brighter prospect. I think that's been one of my biggest issues is these what three, four other movies. I guess not counting Skull Island, but yes, these previous three like Godzilla films. I just keep thinking that they're longer than they need to be for what they are. So the fact that it's going to be that short, I think that's actually got me looking forward to it a lot.
Mm,
And
yeah.
that's like a week and a half before my birthday too. That comes up.
Oh, nice. So there you go, getting a birthday treat there with, yeah, Godzilla Town Kong there. And then, I mean, I don't know, who can't love this? I mean, Godzilla and Kong just running together like that. I mean, who can't love that?
That is a really funny shot.
Look at that. I mean, both of them just yeah.
No, it's goofy, but in a way that I do genuinely enjoy.
Well, yeah. So, yeah. He's got his Infinity Gauntlet on and everything,
Yeah.
Godzilla's gotta upgrade, he's transformed, he's boosted up.
Yeah, when's
Um,
Godzilla gonna get like a sword or an axe or something to throw around?
well, he's got the axe already, he's got that.
Or Kong does, but I feel like Godzilla needs like a
Oh,
sword to give him like Excalibur or something. Like the Transformers movies went there, you might as well do it.
yeah, I mean, his arms, I mean, he can't even hold a sword, can he? Got them little ass like, lizard arms. He
That's
can't even hold
that's true. They're not quite T-Rex tiny. They're a little bigger, but you're right. Maybe he needs what he needs is he needs those grabber extensions so he can
Oh,
just
yeah.
get people from a little further away. That give him like giant versions of those.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Monarch can maybe come up with some technology for him, get some advancement. They got their own Tony Stark, give him his own, grabber
There you
arms
go.
and everything like that. And this is, I mean, how close are we to having like the Pacific Rim universe maybe collide with this universe? Is one is because this is owned by Warner Brothers. Pacific Rim is what Universal, I think.
Is it Universal? I can't. I couldn't remember. Is that?
I think it. No, that's Warner Brothers too. So Pacific Rim,
Oh,
yes.
okay. Yeah, there you go.
So
Why not?
you think we could do that? People jumping in giant mech suits.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it makes sense already. So, like, why worry about whether it continues to?
Yeah, sure. Let's go for it. I say, hey, go for it. Bring Transformers
Yeah,
in there. Bring Pacific Rim in there. Bring everybody in there. Dom from
yeah. I
Fast and
want to see
Furious.
Dominic Toretto roll up. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
like yeah,
Hey, King Kong is trying to build a family, clearly. So,
yeah. He needs another member of his family there. Yeah. So that was Godzilla. Times Kong there. New Empire. All right. Last trailer there is going to be for probably the biggest one. For a lot of people, most highly anticipated game of what the last 20 years, maybe 10 years,
I mean, it's yeah. The last game came out in like late summer 2013, so it's
10
it's
years.
it's has been quite the ride.
Yeah. Because yeah, GTA 5 came out 2013. So yeah, most anticipated game of the last like 10 years here. GTA 6, we have a trailer for it, and
Yeah, I
it
mean,
got
that was the summer after I graduated high school. That's how long that's been.
wow. Yeah, and it already got leaked, and then Rockstar was like, "Fuck it, okay, since it got leaked anyway, let's just have it. Let's just throw it out there since it already got leaked." And we have idea who the main character is gonna be, what kind of story is gonna be. It kind of seems like a Bonnie and Clyde type of thing.
Yep.
You're gonna be following a character called maybe Lucia here, and yeah, she has a boyfriend. This game is clearly set in Florida here, as you can see as well. And we see a lot of you're gonna be dealing with a lot of Florida people, Florida man, Florida woman, craziness that's gonna go on there. Um,
That seems perfect for Grand Theft Auto, honestly.
yeah, perfect for Grand Theft Auto. What's some of your thoughts on GTA 6?
Well, it's nice to see. I mean, the one of some of the older kind of PS2 era games had this as Vice City as they're like fictional kind of parody of Miami. So it's cool to see that kind of brought to life in the modern generation again. That was, I think, as a kid, which I was sure I playing those games far too young. But the Vice City setting was some of my favorite of the older ones, so that's really cool to see. I love the idea of doing a Bonnie and Clyde story. Story has not always been the strongest part of the Grand Theft Auto games. A lot of the times, the characters you play as are you know downright unlikable, with maybe a couple of exceptions, but I think doing kind of a Bonnie and Clyde, like, yeah, it's a crime story, but also maybe a little bit of a romance. I feel like there's an opportunity there to have characters that are maybe just a little more engaging. So I'm really excited about that idea. And after Red Dead Redemption 2 being the studio's last game, I thought that the level of writing really matured from them as a studio, and so I'm curious to see if or how much of that carries over into this.
Yeah. Because some people were freaking out. They said that they're kinda not gonna do maybe some of the same humor as it was before when the last GTA kinda came out there 10 years ago. That's kinda gonna be more updated. It kinda got people a little bit scared there about, becoming, I guess, more PC, I guess, with the GTA games. What did you think about the last GTA game, GTA 5? I mean, character-wise and writing-wise, do you think it was kinda juvenile? Didn't like the characters in the last GTA?
I enjoyed them in a these are terrible people and this is fun sort of way. I guess when I say likable, I guess I mean in more of like a hey, I can like root for this person and like I want them to accomplish their goals and like they got something really going for them. Um, Not that I didn't enjoy the story in the last game. I would call it juvenile, but I also don't think that that is totally a negative. Like sometimes stuff just being ridiculous in a juvenile way is entertaining, and I do think it was. Um, but I think that was that, and this will be this. I think if it's a little more toned down and it's telling a little bit more of a dramatic story now, I don't think that's a bad thing. Got that Data 5's not going anywhere. They just re-released it for the seventh time recently. And that game holds up really well too, graphically and gameplay wise. So like, if you want the again, yeah, and I would totally call it juvenile, but not to besmirch it either. Like, I think it's fun because it's juvenile. But if this one's fun because it's a little less, I don't think that's a bad thing.
Yeah. Yeah, some games can have kind of a different tone, just to it at
Yeah.
times there. And I very much like GTA 5 a lot. My favorite, I think, of the GTA games is probably 4. I like the story a lot in 4
I
there,
think
but
four has the most interesting protagonist. I mean, you have a former war criminal trying to kind of find a better life and then getting pulled into the same kind of conflicts that he thought he had escaped in his original country and doing the whole Liberty City thing as a setting for that. Yeah, I think four honestly probably has the most dramatic story.
mm,
So who's to say that if this one's more dramatic like four, seven won't be more goofy and juvenile like five. It can bounce back and forth. Although you might have to wait 15 years for it. So
yeah.
we'll
You have to
see.
might have to wait till you're in your 40s, probably 50s, probably, before you kinda play another, GTA game, probably playing with your grandkids there. It's funny, there was some people kinda comparing side by side of, like, when the GTA 5 came out and then what they're doing in their lives 10 years later now that this new game got announced, like, now people have kids now they're married, it's, like, totally different now. But graphically, I mean, looks amazing. I mean, a lot of the stuff looks I mean, like this right here, that looks like it's a I mean, I'm not just focusing on the ass shaking here, but, this looks like it's like a real clip here that you would just scroll
it
something
it
like
does, especially with how fast it goes by. I mean, yeah, it does. It does almost look real, or like when you get that slight blur effect from the security camera footage, it does. It looks almost real, or real even in certain shots.
yeah,
I
this
can't
right
wait to
here,
see what this looks like running. Yeah, yeah. I can't
that
wait to
looks
see
r
what this looks like running on like a 4K TV on a PS5. It's visually incredible.
yeah. I mean, that looks really good there. I mean, that looks yeah, like you said, like you could just be scrolling and then actually see this. I don't know, I think this is I wanna say this is maybe a reference to something. I remember there was a case sometime with some woman who attacked somebody with some hammers or something. Uh
Probably some news story from Florida.
Yeah. So that's kinda nice. So with that, I mean, seems like, these kinda like Instagram reels or TikTok videos there that you're kinda seeing here. I wonder if they're gonna incorporate that into the game, if it's gonna be something like you kinda see these and you kinda go there to these things, like, there's gonna be, like, little side missions that you kinda see or you can get involved in, or you can
Yeah, I
just track.
think so.
Yeah, which is nice. You think maybe they're gonna do, like, a switching protagonist thing where you can go between the 2 characters here?
Yeah, well, so that's what's interesting is I had read that a couple of years ago at this point as like rumors about what they were kind of going for with this game, and I had read about them doing a sort of a Bonnie and Clyde story a couple of years ago, and that yeah that you'd swap between these two characters. I think that'd be really smart. I mean, they it was 3 and 5, and I think that was a big part of that game's success was the multiple playable characters and being able to kind of switch around them and do different stuff with each character. So I hope they don't lose that. I think it makes sense to do two, especially with that style of story. Yeah, I think that I'm loving everything I'm seeing, honestly, and I think this whole social media thing. I think that's a very clever thing to incorporate. Oh,
Yeah. Um, guess we gotta do the elephant in the room here. How much backlash do you think is gonna get with Lucia being,
because for being a playable female character. Yeah,
first
I
time
mean,
in GTA history that's happened?
yeah, yeah, no, that's true. I mean, I think that I mean, personally, I think it looks like a really interesting way to tell a story. The whole Bonnie and Clyde thing, that's like a classic crime archetype, right? Um, as far as like, yeah, what the potential backlash will be, I mean, I'm sure there'll be some. The internet loves to jump on that. And I mean, it wouldn't even be starting right now. There was God, maybe a year and a half ago, there was like some very, very like unfinished alpha gameplay that got leaked out. Like, I mean, walls were missing, characters didn't have hair or eyes on them. It was like just as unfinished as it gets. Right? And there was a internet uproar at that time about the way the game looked when it was like, models on a computer that were,
Yeah.
years away from being done. And people were mad then about there being a female playable. So it's going to be there. I guess maybe the only thing that my hope is that it maybe wouldn't be as big a thing because people have already had like 2 years to kind of have their tantrums about it and then shut up. It could reignite with more marketing with this trailer and stuff we'll see in the future. But I'm hoping that because people already kind of had a little freak out, that maybe we won't see as much of it now.
I don't know. I still think it's gonna be there pretty heavy. I mean, even with the Furiosa trailer that kind of came out, the kind of stuff got reignited again of like what happened when Mad Max Fury Road got it. Even though that after Mad Max Fury Road, I mean, it got announced pretty quick that they were going to do like a Furiosa prequel movie with
Yeah,
Anna Taylor-Joy and everything like that. And people said that it's a woman taking over the franchise. Like, I mean, it's already been in development for years that this has been going on. So
people have goldfish memories too, so I guess yeah, it's like they're hearing it for the first time if it does get the most. So
yeah. And the release date for this, as we mentioned before, it is 2025. There, I'm, I don't know. I think it's gonna be pushed back. I hope not, but I think it is gonna probably pushed back. But you said you think it's pretty much this is good for them.
yeah, I honestly like it's possible it'll get pushed back. I wouldn't rule it out entirely, but I do honestly have confidence that it'll make this release, especially because I mean, they just gave a year, right? They didn't give a date or a month even. So if they are not entirely sure, that's a whole 12 months for them to pick from still going forward. And also the last two games they've done, which have been these absolutely massive, incredibly complicated games, those came out on their initially announced release dates. And again, I think that's a product of Rockstar. Just they wait to announce things until they think they're ready, and I think that's something that I wish more game studios would do. So
Mm, yeah. So I don't think it's gonna be like a Cyberpunk 2077 situation. I don't think it's gonna be
yeah,
something like that.
no, I definitely don't think it'll be like that. At least if it is, that'll be the first time Rockstar. Does.
No. So yeah, I'm definitely excited. Lucky Dog Podcast is excited. This is probably going to be one of the most anticipated games next year, and then year after that, whenever it's kind of coming up, people are definitely waiting for another GTA. Um, how well do you think it's gonna sell? You think it's gonna break records probably? I'm thinking so.
Yeah, I mean, I think it probably will. I mean, GTA 5 is like still the highest selling video game I think ever made. I mean, it's
Um,
got like I'm pretty sure it's beaten out like most, if not all, movies and multiple other forms of media. I mean, it is ridiculous how much money that game has made. I think it crossed the $1 billion mark in its first 3 days of release back in 2013, and the number of people that play video games has increased exponentially over the last 10 years too. So the potential audience for it is probably tenfold bigger than it was when that made a billion in 3 days. So
mm, yeah. I'm trying to see how many copies did it sell here. So this is Wikipedia. It says this is the second best-selling video game of all time with over
second,
190
okay.
billion copies sold
What is
here.
the first one? Out of curiosity,
Honestly, see. Let's see. I bet you it's
because
probably a
and then
COD game. I bet you.
that, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised about that. The other thing too is I think in terms of its total, it's copies sold, but then also you have to consider that so much of the game's life has been around the way it has because of the GTA Online, which is however much money each person playing has decided to sink into the microtransactions on that, on top of the just the copies for the single player.
Okay. So this is IGN. So this article is from October of this year. So GTA 5 was number 3. Minecraft was number 2 at 300 million plus.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of
And
sense
this is talking
actually.
about just, I guess, copies sold. This is just talking about
Okay.
copies here. Yeah, because it said GTA 5 is the best-selling console slash PC only game of all time. The top two entries on this list have mobile versions too. And then number
Okay.
one is Tetris with 520 million.
I believe that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But still, hey, number three. I think GTA 6 has a chance to get way up there. Definitely. I mean, it's definitely going to be really huge. But yeah, yeah. So that was our discussion for GTA 6.